We're talking about a coin that might be sitting in your change jar right now, the 1989 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. You may think that it's just another penny, but what if I told you that one of these pennies is currently valued at a whopping $1.8 million? Stick around, because we're about to explore the story behind this coin and why it's so valuable. Before diving into the specifics of the 1989 penny, let's first take a moment to talk about mint marks. Mint marks are small letters found on coins that indicate where the coin was produced. In the case of American pennies, the most common mint marks are D for Denver and S for San Francisco. If you don't see a mint mark, that means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. Now, you might be thinking, so what? Well, for most years, these mint marks don't make much of a difference in a coin's value. But in some rare cases, a coin without a mint mark can be extremely valuable, and the 1989 penny is one of those cases. The 1989 no-mint mark penny, 2 to 4 o'clock, in 1989. A curious thing happened at the U.S. Mint. A handful of pennies were struck without the usual mint mark. These were supposed to be produced in the Philadelphia Mint, so they were made without any mint mark, as was typical for Philadelphia minted coins. But what makes the 1989 penny stand out is the fact that a few of these pennies were released into circulation, and they didn't make it back to the mint for correction. At first, it was just another oddity. One of those mistakes that collectors tend to overlook. But over the years, it became clear that this specific error made these pennies incredibly rare, and rare coins, as you probably know, can be worth a lot of money. The discovery and first sales, 4 to 530. So how was this rare penny discovered? Well, it wasn't until the early 2000s that coin collectors started noticing something unusual about certain 1989 pennies. They were stamped just like any other penny from that year, but without the mint mark. When these were sent off to grading services, they were confirmed as legitimate U.S. coins, but with a critical error: no mint mark. Once word spread about these errors, collectors went wild. Coins that had once been viewed as nothing more than a common penny were now being sold for thousands of dollars. In some cases, even hundreds of thousands. And in one remarkable sale, a single 1989 no-mint mark penny fetched $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.8 million for just a penny. Oh, what makes this penny worth so much money? Well, it all comes down to rarity. The 1989 no-mint mark penny is incredibly rare because it was never supposed to exist. The mint usually catches such errors before they're distributed to the public, but in this case, the coins slip through the cracks. Since there are so few of them out there, the demand among collectors is sky high. Add to that the fact that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are both rare and historically significant, and you begin to understand how a single penny can command a price tag in the millions. What does the coin look like? 7 to 8 o'clock. If you want to go searching through your change, it's important to know what to look for. The 1989 no-mint mark penny looks like any other penny at first glance. It features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, or front side, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse, or back, side features the Lincoln Memorial, which was used on the penny until 2009. What makes it different is the absence of the mint mark under the date. Normally, you would see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But in this case, the coin is just plain, with no mint mark at all. It's small, but it's the key that makes the coin so valuable. How to determine if you have one, 8 to 9 o'clock? Now, you may be wondering, how do you know if you've got one of these rare pennies? The first step is to take a close look at the date and the absence of a mint mark. If you find a 1989 penny and there's no D or S under the year, you could be in luck. The next step is to get it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service, such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. These services will examine your coin, verify its authenticity, and assign it a grade based on its condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If your penny is in great condition, with little to no wear, it could be worth far more than just a few bucks. In some cases, it could even fetch $1 million price. Market value and auction prices, 9 to 940. While the 1989 no-mint mark penny has been valued as high as $1.8 million in the past, the market value can fluctuate based on demand, condition, and the overall state of the coin market. However, these rare coins are still highly sought after, and if you happen to find one, you're sitting on a potentially very valuable piece of history. The rarity and scarcity of this penny will likely keep its value high for years to come. So, there you have it. The 1989 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of the rarest and most valuable pennies out there. And if you happen to have one in your possession, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Who knew that a simple mistake could turn a common penny into a million-dollar treasure? Thanks for watching, and be sure to check your spare change. You never know what you might find. We will dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting, specifically focusing on the rare 1987 D-Mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. This coin has garnered a lot of attention recently, especially with its market value now reaching an astonishing $1 million. In this video, we'll cover the history behind this coin, its rarity, how to spot it, and why it's fetching such a high price today. So, let's get started. The penny, or 1-cent coin, is something most of us are familiar with. In fact, it's one of the most common coins in circulation, used in daily transactions and often overlooked in the world of numismatics. However, certain pennies are anything but ordinary, and that's what we're going to talk about today, the 1987 D-Mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now, let's take a step back and understand what makes this particular penny so rare. In general, most pennies minted in 1987 were made in huge quantities, meaning they're pretty easy to find in circulation today. But there's a very specific error that occurred at the Denver Mint in 1987, and it has created a rare and highly sought-after version of this penny. The 1987 D-Mint mark penny, to the untrained eye, might look just like any other. It features the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and on the reverse, you'll find the famous Lincoln Memorial. But what sets this particular penny apart is a minting error that caused a small number of these coins to be produced with the wrong details, leading to an incredible increase in value. To understand why this penny is now worth so much, we need to talk about minting errors. The 1987 D-Mint mark penny contains a rare variety of error called a double die obverse error. This means that the die used to strike the coins was misaligned, resulting in double details on the image of Abraham Lincoln. You might notice a doubling of the inscriptions, like the date 1987, or even the details on Lincoln's hair and beard. It's subtle, but if you know what to look for, it's easy to spot. So, why is this error so important? In the world of coin collecting, minting errors are highly prized, especially when they are rare and not something you can find easily. A coin with a double die error like this is considered a major mistake in the production process. That rarity, combined with the fact that it was minted in 1987, makes it incredibly valuable to collectors today. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the coin's current market value. When it comes to rare coins, value is determined by several factors: rarity, condition, and demand. As we've mentioned, the 1987 D-Mint mark Lincoln penny with the double die error is rare. Only a handful of these coins are believed to exist, which drives up its desirability among collectors. If you were to find one of these rare pennies, you could expect it to be worth a pretty penny, pun intended. Current market values for this specific coin have soared into the six-figure range, with some specimens even reaching up to $1 million. That's right. This small penny that most people wouldn't think twice about could be worth a fortune, depending on its condition and the degree of error. You might be wondering, how can I tell if I have one of these rare coins? Well, that's a great question, and I'll walk you through it. First, examine the coin closely under good lighting. Look for any doubling in the inscriptions, especially around the date, the word liberty, or the "In God We Trust" motto. The doubling should be clear but subtle. Too much doubling would indicate a more obvious error, but a light, almost ghostly doubling is what you want to look for. Next, check the overall condition of the coin. Coins with minting errors are typically more valuable if they are in excellent condition, meaning they have little to no wear and tear. Look for sharp details and minimal scratches or discoloration. Of course, the rarer the coin, the higher the value. But don't expect to get a fortune unless your coin has the error and is in great shape. If you believe you might have one of these rare 1987 D-Mint mark pennies, the next step is to get it evaluated by a professional. It's always a good idea to take it to a reputable numismatist or send it to a trusted grading service for an official evaluation. These professionals will grade the coin based on its condition and determine if it's a true double die error. If it is, the potential for a significant payout is real. Now, let's talk a little more about the history of the penny itself. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, has undergone several design changes over the years. The coin originally featured a depiction of the wheat stalks on the reverse, which was later replaced by the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. This version of the penny continued until 2009, when the U.S. Mint introduced a special design to mark Lincoln's 200th birthday. But the 1987 D Mint Mark penny, along with other coins from that era, is part of a long tradition of change and innovation in U.S. coinage. While most people simply see the penny as pocket change, collectors know that these small pieces of metal can hold great value, especially when they carry unique characteristics or errors that make them stand out. In conclusion, the 1987 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny is a rare and valuable coin that has captured the attention of collectors. The double die error that occurred during its minting makes it highly sought after, and its value can reach an impressive $1 million. If you have one of these pennies, you could be holding a small fortune in your hand. Just be sure to inspect it carefully, and if you think you've found one, consider getting it professionally evaluated to learn more about its worth. We're diving into a fascinating piece of U.S. history, the 2014 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. Now, you may be thinking, what makes a penny from 2014 worth $1.1 million? Well, stay tuned, because this rare coin has a story that's more intriguing than you might imagine. In the next few minutes, we'll explore the history of the penny, the significance of mint marks, how this penny became so valuable, and how you can spot these rare coins in your own collection. So, let's jump right in. Before we get into the 2014 No Mint Mark penny, let's take a quick look at the 1-cent coin itself. The penny has been around since 1793, and over the years, the design has changed several times. Most famously, we've seen the Lincoln Memorial design from 1959 to 2008, and more recently, the Union Shield design, which has been used since 2010. But regardless of design, every penny has a key feature that tells you where it was made. The mint mark. A mint mark is a small letter stamped onto the coin to indicate which U.S. mint facility produced it. Most coins have mint marks like D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia. For most pennies, you'll either see a D or a P, with the occasional S for special coinage. So, what happens when a penny doesn't have a mint mark? It's a rare occurrence, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. In 2014, an odd and unique situation arose. A batch of pennies was released that didn't have any mint marks. This was completely unexpected, and it caused quite a stir in the numismatic world. Here's the thing. In 2014, most of the pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint, so they should have had the P mint mark on them. However, a few of these pennies made it into circulation without the P. How did this happen? It turns out, the 2014 No Mint Mark pennies were the result of an error at the Philadelphia Mint. These coins were struck without the mint mark, making them incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. Only a small number of these unmarked coins were made, and even fewer made it into public hands. Now, let's talk about the value. If you happen to have one of these 2014 No Mint Mark pennies in your possession, you're in luck, because this penny is worth far more than its face value of 1 cent. In fact, one of these rare coins was recently sold for a staggering $1.1 million. So, what makes this penny worth so much? The rarity is the main factor. Remember, most pennies from 2014 have the mint mark P, but these unmarked coins are a real anomaly. Only a few of them are known to exist, and their scarcity has driven up their value dramatically. But don't expect to find one lying around in your pocket change. These coins are extremely rare, and finding one is like discovering a hidden treasure. Now that you know the value of this coin, how can you identify a 2014 No Mint Mark penny? It's actually pretty simple. Look for a penny from 2014 that doesn't have any mint mark on the reverse side. The absence of the mint mark is the key feature. Keep in mind that other coins from 2014 will have a mint mark, so it's only the unmarked ones you'll need to keep an eye out for. You might be wondering, how did this coin go from being a rare error to being worth $1.1 million? The journey of this coin's discovery is quite a story. One of the first known 2014 No Mint Mark pennies was discovered by a coin collector who happened to be looking through a roll of pennies. After verifying its authenticity, the penny was eventually auctioned off. It sold for a massive $1.1 million at a prestigious coin auction, surprising everyone in the numismatic community. So, why would someone pay so much for a single penny? Well, coin collecting is a big business, and collectors and investors often seek out rare items to add to their collections. Coins like the 2014 no mint mark penny are highly prized because of their rarity and historical significance. In fact, there are many collectors who specialize in mint errors, which are coins that were struck with defects or anomalies. These errors, while unintentional, often make the coin more valuable because of their unique characteristics. Will the 2014 no mint mark penny continue to increase in value? It's hard to say for sure, but it's likely that these rare coins will only become more valuable as time goes on. The fewer there are in circulation, the more they'll be worth to collectors and investors. If you have one of these coins, it might be worth holding on to it and seeing how its value evolves over the years. In the world of coin collecting, rare coins like these can appreciate significantly over time. To wrap things up, the 2014 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny is a prime example of how a small error can lead to a huge payoff. Its rarity, coupled with the intrigue of its origin story, has made it one of the most valuable pennies in history, with a recent sale price of $1.1 million. If you happen to come across a 2014 penny with no mint mark, take a closer look. It could be worth far more than you think. We're diving into one of the most fascinating and rare coins ever minted, the 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. This particular penny has captured the attention of collectors and investors worldwide, with a current market value of an astounding $1.2 million. Let's take a closer look at what makes this coin so special, how it came to be, and why it's worth so much. If you're like most coin collectors, you probably know that most pennies have a mint mark, a small letter placed on the coin to indicate where it was produced. The mint mark can tell you whether a penny was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, the 1986 Lincoln cent is famous for one glaring omission. It has no mint mark at all. Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? It's just a penny. But this particular coin has become one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in the world. Let's explore WHY.in 1986. The U.S. Mint produced a series of Lincoln 1-cent coins. Typically, the mint mark on a coin would be found on the reverse side, just beneath the year. However, in 1986, a batch of pennies was minted in Philadelphia without the mint mark, a mistake that would turn out to be one of the most significant errors in modern coin history. At the time, the U.S. Mint had been shifting its production processes. The Philadelphia Mint, which had been producing coins without mint marks for years, mistakenly omitted the mint mark from these particular coins. This oversight was caught relatively quickly, and the majority of the coins from this batch were melted down or corrected. But some of these rare no-mint mark pennies made it into circulation. The result? A rare and valuable coin that would eventually become a prized item for collectors. It wasn't long before collectors and coin enthusiasts started noticing something unusual about their 1986 pennies. As the years went on, it became clear that a small number of these no-mint mark pennies had survived. The scarcity of these coins, paired with the error, made them highly sought after. In fact, when experts started reviewing these pennies, it became clear that their error was no ordinary mistake. This wasn't just a minor issue like a misspelled word or a slight variation in design. This was an example of a significant production error that would define the coin's rarity and worth. As more collectors began to understand the rarity of the 1986 no-mint mark penny, its value began to climb. But what was the real price of these rare coins? Well, that's where things get interesting. While the 1986 no-mint mark penny started out as just another oddity, it eventually became one of the most valuable coins on the market. As of now, the value of a single 1986 no-mint mark penny can reach an eye-popping $1.2 million. Now, you might be wondering how this value came about. It's all about rarity, historical significance, and demand. Coins like the 1986 no-mint mark penny are incredibly rare, with only a handful of them known to exist. The error was so unique and its significance so great that coin collectors and investors alike have been willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on one. In fact, the 1986 no-mint mark penny's value has been steadily rising over the years, thanks to its growing recognition and the increasing rarity of high-grade examples. In 2020, One such penny was sold for an incredible $1.2 million at a prestigious coin auction. The coin was in near-perfect condition, and the bidding war for it was fierce. This marked a historic moment in the world of coin collecting, and it's not surprising that this coin's value continues to soar. An error that is both rare and significant. Mistakes like this don't happen often, and when they do, they're highly prized by collectors. Only a small number of these coins exist today, and even fewer are in good condition. The more pristine the coin, the higher its value. Historical significance. The 1986 No-Mint Mark penny represents a turning point in U.S. coin production. It's a symbol of how even small errors can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's treasure. As with any collectible, demand drives value. The 1986 No-Mint Mark penny is in high demand, especially among serious collectors and investors who are willing to pay top dollar to own a piece of history. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have one of these rare coins in your collection? Identifying the 1986 No-Mint Mark penny is relatively simple once you know what to look for. The most important feature to check is the absence of a mint mark on the reverse side of the penny. If you have a 1986 penny with no mint mark, you may be in possession of a valuable coin. However, before getting too excited, it's important to have your coin authenticated by a professional to ensure it is genuine and in good condition. Counterfeit coins do exist, and authenticity is key when it comes to high-value coins like this one. With the value of the 1986 No-Mint Mark penny skyrocketing, you might be wondering whether it's worth investing in one. While the $1.2 million price tag may seem out of reach for most people, it's important to remember that coin collecting is not just about acquiring the most expensive pieces. It's about appreciating the rarity, history, and beauty of these coins. If you're considering investing in the 1986 No-Mint Mark penny, make sure you do your research. Learn about the market trends, understand the factors that influence coin values, and consult with experts in the field. If you can get your hands on one of these rare pennies, it could be a fantastic addition to your collection. The 1986 No-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny is a prime example of how an error in production can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. With its current market value of $1.2 million, it's clear that collectors and investors alike have recognized the rarity and historical significance of this unique coin. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a newcomer to the world of numismatics, the story of the 1986 No-Mint Mark penny is one that should inspire awe and appreciation. Who knows? Maybe you'll find one of these rare pennies in your own change one day, and if you do, it could change your life forever. We'll be discussing a fascinating piece of U.S. coinage, the 2017 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. This particular penny is not your ordinary coin, and what makes it so unique might surprise you. Not only does it have a significant historical value, but it's also worth a staggering amount in today's market. If you thought pennies were just small change, think again, because this one could be worth up to $1.3 million. Let's dive into the details and explore what makes this penny so special, why it's generating so much buzz, and how you can identify this rare coin. Before we get into the specifics of the 2017 penny, let's take a quick look at the history of the U.S. 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny. The penny was first issued in 1793, and over the centuries, its design has evolved, reflecting changes in American history, art, and culture. The most well-known design is the one featuring President Abraham Lincoln, which has been in circulation since 1909, marking Lincoln's 100th birthday. This iconic design, created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, remains a staple of American currency today. Now, fast forward to 2017. The U.S. Mint introduced a special edition of the penny with the letter P stamped on it, something that had never been done before. For over 2 centuries, U.S. coins had been struck without a mint mark on the penny. This all changed when the 2017 coins, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, were marked with the P mint mark, making them the first ever pennies to bear this mark. This was part of a broader effort by the Mint to celebrate its 225th anniversary. At first glance, the 2017 penny looks like any other penny, small, copper-colored, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on one side and the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But don't let the appearance fool you. The real value of this coin lies in its rarity. Due to a mistake in the production process, a limited number of these pennies were released into circulation, And finding one of these pennies today is like finding a hidden treasure. You might be wondering, how does a penny that's worth just 1 cent become worth over $1 million? Well, it all boils down to rarity and demand. The 2017 p pennies were minted in large numbers, but only a few made it into circulation without being hoarded or destroyed. This makes them incredibly rare today. Coin collectors and investors have long understood that rarity is a key factor in determining a coin's value, and the 2017 p penny is no exception. While many collectors are excited to add this coin to their collections, the coin's value has been driven up by its rarity, historical significance, and the story behind its minting. As of today, the current market value of a 2017 p Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny can reach an impressive $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.3 million. This is an incredible return on investment for anyone lucky enough to have one of these rare pennies in their possession. The price can vary depending on the condition of the coin, with uncirculated or pristine examples commanding the highest prices. It's important to note that not every 2017 p penny is worth that much, but those in near-perfect or mint condition are the ones that fetch the highest prices. Now, let's talk about how you can identify whether you have one of these rare 2017 p pennies. The most obvious feature is the P mint mark, which is located just beneath the date on the obverse, or front side, of the penny. The mint mark should be clear and legible, and it will look like a small P stamped into the coin. If your penny has this mint mark, congratulations, you might be holding on to something very valuable. However, there are other factors to consider as well. The condition of the coin is key to determining its value. Coins that are well preserved, with no scratches or discoloration, are far more valuable than those that have been heavily worn or damaged. It's also important to remember that the 2017 p penny is still relatively new. While many of these coins are already circulating, there are still many people unaware of the rarity of this penny. So, keep your eyes peeled whenever you receive change, as it could be your chance to spot one of these elusive coins. If you think you have found a 2017 p penny, the next step is to get it appraised. It's a good idea to take the coin to a reputable coin dealer or certified appraiser to determine its value. They can help you assess its condition and provide you with an estimate of its worth. If your coin is in excellent condition, you might be able to sell it for a significant profit. However, keep in mind that the coin market can fluctuate, so the value of your penny may change over time. Some people might be wondering if it's worth holding on to a 2017 p penny for the long term. While there's no guarantee that the coin's value will continue to rise, the history and rarity of this penny make it a potentially lucrative investment. As more people become aware of its value, demand for these coins may increase, driving up the price even further. Whether you're a collector looking to add this rare penny to your collection or an investor hoping to make a profit, the 2017 p penny represents a unique opportunity. In conclusion, the 2017 p mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny is a true treasure for collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. Its rarity, historical significance, and potential for incredible value make it a coin that everyone should be aware of. If you happen to come across one of these pennies in your pocket change, be sure to examine it closely. It could be worth a small fortune. Whether you're looking to invest or simply appreciate the history behind this remarkable coin, the 2017 p penny is a perfect example of how even the most common of items can hold extraordinary value. If you're a coin enthusiast, a collector, or even just someone who enjoys learning about rare finds, you're in for a treat today. We're diving deep into a fascinating coin, the 1977 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1 cent penny, a coin that is currently worth a whopping $1.4 million. Let's start by discussing the basic facts about this penny. We're all familiar with the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the 1 cent piece, but this particular coin, minted in 1977, has a unique feature that sets it apart from the rest of the pennies produced in that year. You see, most pennies are marked with a mint mark that indicates where they were made, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, this 1977 penny has no mint mark at all, which is extremely unusual for coins from that time. Now, let's explore how a coin without a mint mark can end up being so valuable. Generally speaking, when a coin is missing a mint mark, it's not always something that increases its value. In fact, the absence of a mint mark could be the result of a variety of production errors. But in the case of the 1977 penny, This error is so rare that it has captured the attention of collectors and numismatists worldwide. For most people, the 1977 penny may seem like a regular coin, but the truth is that this one little anomaly has turned it into one of the most sought-after pennies in history. It's important to understand that the value of a coin is determined by several factors: rarity, demand, and condition. And in the case of the 1977 no mint mark penny, it's the rarity that really drives its astronomical value. To give you a sense of how rare this coin is, let's talk about how it was discovered. Initially, these coins were seen as just another batch of pennies from the year 1977, and for the most part, they were treated like any other penny. However, over the years, experts started to notice that there were certain pennies from 1977 that didn't have a mint mark, and this caught the attention of coin collectors. They began to question if these were simply production errors or if they had any special significance. The situation was made even more intriguing by the fact that no one could explain how these pennies were made without a mint mark in the first place. Experts believe that the minting process at the time wasn't perfect. Some of these coins were accidentally struck without the mint mark due to a malfunction in the machinery or some oversight in the minting process. While many of these coins were discarded, a few slipped through the cracks and ended up in the hands of collectors, unknowingly carrying a potential fortune. Over time, as collectors became more aware of the error, the value of these coins began to rise steadily. But how did we get from a typical penny to the extraordinary $1.4 million coin that we know today? This coin's extraordinary value comes down to one key factor: its rarity. It's estimated that there are fewer than 20 of these 1977 no mint mark pennies still in circulation, and of those few, only a handful are in pristine condition. The combination of rarity, demand, and condition is what ultimately makes this coin so incredibly valuable. If you're lucky enough to own one, you may have a true treasure in your possession. Let's take a closer look at how much one of these coins could be worth depending on its condition. Coins are typically graded on a scale from poor to mint state. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1977 no mint mark penny in a lower grade might still be worth a few $1,000s, but a coin in mint condition can be worth well over $1 million. The finest examples, which have been carefully preserved and maintained, have sold for astronomical sums at auction, and they continue to generate excitement in the world of coin collecting. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How can I tell if I have one of these rare pennies in my own collection? The first step is to check for the absence of a mint mark. The mint mark should appear on the obverse, near the bottom of the coin, just beneath the date. If it's missing, then you might have something special. But remember, rarity doesn't automatically guarantee high value. The condition of the coin is just as important. If you think you found a 1977 no mint mark penny, it's worth having it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. They'll assess the condition of your coin and provide you with an official grade, which can help determine its market value. Professional grading can be especially important for rare coins like this, as it gives potential buyers confidence in the coin's authenticity and condition. For those of you who are just starting out in coin collecting or looking to dive deeper into the world of rare coins, this is a great example of how one seemingly ordinary coin can turn out to be a hidden gem. Coins are fascinating little pieces of history, and they can be an excellent investment if you know what to look for. Now, let's talk about the current market for the 1977 no mint mark penny. As I mentioned earlier, the value of these coins has soared to an incredible $1.4 million. That's the price a rare, well-preserved example fetched at auction, and it's likely to continue increasing as the supply of these coins shrinks over time. Keep in mind, however, that the market for rare coins can fluctuate and prices can vary depending on demand, condition, and other factors. So, while $1.4 million is an impressive figure, it's important to understand that not every 1977 no mint mark penny will fetch that price. If you're lucky enough to own one, or if you come across one while sorting through your change, it's worth doing some research to understand its full potential value. Even if it's not worth $1 million, it could still be worth a significant sum depending on its condition and rarity. As we wrap up today's video, I want to leave you with this important takeaway. Coins like the 1977 no mint mark penny remind us of the fascinating world of numismatics, where a small oversight in production can lead to extraordinary value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey, always be on the lookout for coins that might have something special about them. You never know what hidden treasures might be waiting for you in your spare change. We're diving into a fascinating and rare coin that many collectors dream of finding. The 1963 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And believe it or not, this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth up to $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. Stick around to learn how this rare penny can fetch such a jaw-dropping price and why it's so valuable in today's market. Let's start by reviewing the basics of the 1963 Lincoln penny. These coins were minted during a pivotal time in U.S. history as the 1960s brought about tremendous changes. The 1963 penny features the famous Lincoln portrait design by Victor David Brenner on the obverse, and on the reverse, the iconic wheat ears design, which was in circulation from 1909 to 1958. However, there's something unique about the 1963 penny that makes it so extraordinary. Before we delve into the specifics, let's briefly talk about mint marks. Mint marks are small letters found on coins that tell us where the coin was minted. For most of the 20th century, pennies were minted in 3 U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. For most years, Philadelphia would mint pennies without a mint mark, while Denver and San Francisco would mint pennies with their respective letters. The 1963 penny was supposed to have a mint mark if it was produced outside of Philadelphia. So why does the absence of a mint mark on some 1963 pennies make them so special? Let's find out. In 1963, something strange happened. The Philadelphia Mint mistakenly produced a small number of pennies without a mint mark, even though they were not intended to have one. This rare error coin is now known as the 1963 no mint mark Lincoln penny. The fact that a small number of these pennies were released without any mint mark made them extremely unique, as most coins from that year carried either no mint mark, if produced in Philadelphia, or the D mint mark, if produced in Denver. This error coin is incredibly rare, and because of that rarity, it has become one of the most sought-after coins among collectors. A single 1963 no mint mark Lincoln penny can command a price that most people would never expect for a penny. Now, why is this penny so valuable? Well, rarity plays a huge role. Only a handful of these 1963 no mint mark pennies were ever released into circulation, making them extremely hard to find. But it's not just the rarity that makes it valuable. This coin is also a piece of American numismatic history. It represents an error in the minting process, and collectors love coins with mistakes. The error coin's rarity, coupled with its historical significance, makes it highly prized in the collector's market. The condition of the coin also plays a significant role in its value. The more well-preserved the coin, the more it can fetch at auction. A 1963 no mint mark penny in uncirculated or near-perfect condition could easily fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in some cases, it has sold for up to $1.5 million. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. Now, let's talk about how you can identify a 1963 no mint mark penny. First, check the date. The coin will clearly say 1963 on the front. Next, look for the absence of a mint mark. Remember, a regular 1963 penny minted in Denver should have a D mint mark. If you have a 1963 penny with no mint mark and you're confident it wasn't produced in Philadelphia, then you could have an error coin on your hands. One key thing to keep in mind. Just because your 1963 penny doesn't have a mint mark doesn't mean it's automatically worth a fortune. You'll need to assess its condition as well. If the coin is worn, scratched, or damaged, its value will be much lower. But if it's in mint or near mint condition, you might have a rare treasure. So, how much is your 1963 no mint mark penny really worth? That depends on several factors, including its condition, the current market demand, and whether you have one of the truly rare examples. As I mentioned earlier, these pennies can fetch prices in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in exceptional cases, they've sold for as much as $1.5 million. To get an accurate estimate, it's best to have your coin professionally graded. The American Numismatic Association, or other reputable grading companies, can assess your coin and give it a grade that will help determine its market value. Keep in mind that auction results for error coins like the 1963 no mint mark penny can vary depending on the auction house, the buyer, and the time. The market for rare coins has seen some extraordinary growth in recent years, particularly for error coins like the 1963 no-mint mark penny. Collectors around the world are willing to pay top dollar for these unique pieces of history, which makes it a good time for people to start collecting, whether you're an experienced numismatist or just starting out. Remember, when investing in rare coins, the condition of the coin is crucial. Coins in pristine condition can be worth exponentially more than those that are damaged or heavily worn. Learn about the coins you want to collect and familiarize yourself with the various errors and varieties that may exist. You never know when a rare coin might slip through the cracks. Always keep an eye on your pocket change. If you find a rare coin, consider getting it professionally graded to ensure you get the best valued. If you're purchasing rare coins, make sure to buy from trusted sources to avoid fakes or reproductions. We're diving into the legendary 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny, which has taken the coin collecting world by storm and is now valued at an astonishing $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.6 million. Stick with me as we explore how this penny became so valuable, its history, and what makes it such a prized possession among collectors. Before we get into the specifics of the 1978 no-mint mark penny, let's first take a quick look at the history of the U.S. penny. The penny, officially known as the 1-cent coin, has been in circulation in various forms since 1793. Over the years, it's undergone numerous design changes, but perhaps the most well-known is the Lincoln penny, which was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. This coin became one of the most iconic and enduring symbols of American currency, featuring the profile of President Lincoln on the obverse, the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, the back. But let's fast forward to the year 1978. During this time, the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies each year to keep up with the demand for small change. Typically, pennies are minted at the U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each of these coins has a mint mark indicating where it was produced. Most pennies from this time period bear a small D or S mint mark to show they came from Denver or San Francisco. However, something very unusual happened with a small batch of 1978 pennies. A mistake was made during the minting process, and a small number of 1978 pennies were produced without any mint mark at all. These are what we call no mint mark coins, and they are incredibly rare. In fact, the 1978 no-mint mark penny is considered one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in the world today. You might be wondering, why is a penny, which is typically worth just 1 cent, so valuable? The answer lies in rarity and demand. Coin collectors and enthusiasts are constantly on the lookout for rare, unique, and error coins, and a no-mint mark penny from 1978 is a perfect example of such an error. Not only does it have a fascinating story behind it, but it is also an extremely rare find, making it incredibly valuable on the market. Now, let's take a closer look at the specific characteristics of this coin. The 1978 no-mint mark penny appears just like any other penny from that time, with one major difference: the absence of the mint mark. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary penny, but upon closer inspection, you'll notice that this error makes it stand out among the rest. The coin features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, but what truly makes it unique is the lack of any mint mark, which is typically located beneath the date on the reverse side. This penny is extremely difficult to come by, and even experienced collectors are often amazed when they find one. In fact, it's believed that only a handful of these 1978 no-mint mark pennies exist today. This rarity, combined with the coin's historical significance, is what has driven its value sky-high. As of recent market reports, the value of a 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny has reached a staggering $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1.6 million for a penny. This is a testament to how valuable rare coins can become over time, especially those with such a unique history and scarcity. So, what makes this penny worth such an incredible sum? Well, there are several factors at play. First and foremost, its rarity plays a huge role. Because so few of these coins were ever minted, and even fewer have survived in good condition, the demand for one of these coins is extremely high. Additionally, the fact that it is an error coin makes it even more attractive to collectors who are always searching for coins with mistakes or oddities. Collectors appreciate these unique features as they add an element of intrigue and value to their collection. Another factor that drives the price of the 1978 no-mint mark penny is its historical significance. Coins, especially rare ones, can tell the story of a specific time period or event. The 1978 no-mint mark penny represents a small moment in the history of American coinage, one that few people know about but is nonetheless captivating. The rarity and historical significance of the coin make it an object of fascination for collectors, historians, and even investors. Now, you might be thinking, how can you tell if you have one of these rare coins? Well, it's not easy, as these pennies can be mistaken for ordinary 1978 pennies if you're not paying close attention. The key identifying feature is the lack of a mint mark. So, if you come across a 1978 penny and notice that there's no D or S beneath the date, you may have found a hidden gem. However, keep in mind that these coins are extremely rare, and finding one is like finding a needle in a haystack. If you do find one of these 1978 no-mint mark pennies, you'll want to have it appraised by a professional coin expert to determine its condition and authenticity. The value of rare coins is highly dependent on their condition, so a coin in mint or near-mint condition will fetch a higher price than one that's heavily worn or damaged. A pristine 1978 no-mint mark penny could easily fetch close to the $1.6 million mark, while one in poor condition might still be worth a considerable amount, but not nearly as much. So, what's the takeaway from all this? If you're a coin collector or just someone who enjoys exploring the fascinating world of rare currency, the 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a coin worth knowing about. It's an example of how small mistakes in the minting process can lead to huge rewards for collectors, and it serves as a reminder of the incredible value that rare and unique coins can have. In conclusion, the 1978 no-mint mark penny is a true treasure in the world of numismatics, and its current value of $1.6 million is a testament to the power of rarity, historical significance, and the passion of coin collectors worldwide. So, next time you find yourself holding a penny, take a second look. You might just have a valuable piece of history in your hands.